Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, and today's episode is going to be about mental health and skincare, how you can still take care of your skin if you are dealing with a mental health crisis, and we're going to touch a little bit on mental health and being a solopreneur as well. So if that's something you're interested in, then keep on listening. Okay, this is something that I'm very familiar with. There have been times when I have had panic attacks, or I'm dealing with a bout of anxiety, or in the past dealt with depression, and I've struggled with taking care of myself, just my basic needs. So I've learned over the years what are some easy ways to do that and simplify your routine so it doesn't feel overwhelming when so many other things are. So, we're going to get into that and then talk about how I've been very open and vocal about how I have had mental health struggles. I take low-dose medication for anxiety. I have self-diagnosed ADHD, and I have dealt with situational depression in the past. So I do have to stay on top of my anxiety, or else that will get to me. And then I do have to cope with my ADHD and recognize when I'm displaying symptoms and manage that and not let that overwhelm me. So first we're going to talk about skincare. Of course, whenever you are feeling overwhelmed, maybe you have just burned yourself out, you're not prioritizing your time as you should, you're taking on too many household duties in service of your family, and you're not taking the time to prioritize your own self-care to, regulate yourself. So what you can do is really break it down. Your normal skincare routine, say it consists of 4 products in the AM and then 4 products in PM. Well, when you're dealing with a mental health crisis, no matter what it is, simple tasks can be really hard. So if you're able to take a shower, cleanse your skin while you're in the shower, and then slap a SPF on. It doesn't have to be, the best of the best. You don't have to make yourself feel guilty for not doing it, but at least you're taking care of your basic needs, and doing that will give you motivation to get back into the rhythm of things. Of course, this isn't advice on how to take care of your mental health. If you are dealing with a mental health crisis, you should definitely check in with your doctor and see what you guys can formulate together and what you can do to take best care of yourself. But this is more so just speaking on what to do in terms of taking care of your body and your skin when you're going through this. So wake up in the morning, don't even clean your face. At least if you just wake up in the morning and you put your SPF moisturizer on, you get a thumbs up from me. And then at night, even a makeup wipe. If you only have, I hate makeup wipes, I truly, truly do. But if you have makeup wipes on hand, do a quick makeup wipe and then do your moisturizer or your retinoid moisturizer every other night. So I have reusable cotton rounds. So I can easily just, splash some micellar water on those and remove my, I use that as a pre-cleanse. So if you have micellar water versus a makeup towel, that would be the best way to go. Just splash it on a washcloth or some cotton rounds and do a quick wipe and then slap some moisturizer on. Literally takes you 30 seconds. So I think, there's a lot of people out there that say that they don't have time for a skincare routine, and that is purely because they're not prioritizing their time well, and that is a task that seems overwhelming to them. So if that is a state that you're in right now, just do these small steps. Wake up in the morning, put your SPF on. At night, makeup wipe, or micellar water, and do your moisturizer. And after you get into the constant routine of doing those really basic steps, it'll create motivation to do more. And I have clients all the time that, are going through things or they're not able to prioritize their time well, and I never guilt trip them. I never want to guilt trip anyone for not being able to do a 3-step, 4-step routine. I want to help you. I want to meet you where you're at. So I do ask, as I'm sure many other estheticians do on your intake forms, I have a checklist of like health conditions, and anxiety and depression are 2 of those. And if someone checks that off, I usually don't bring it up, but after I look at their skin, I can kind of see if it's lacking anywhere, and then I can see where they're at and try and give them some tips on how they can improve that. So, for example, like if someone has anxiety and I look at their skin and I see they have a lot of PIH or PIE, their anxiety is inducing them to pick at their face. So then I'll give them solutions on how to supplement picking with something else whenever their anxiety is elevated. For a lot of people, at night is when they do it, when you're winding down and you're trying to regulate yourself. A lot of people will regulate by picking at their face. And so some things you can do instead of that is, obviously you want to get rid of the magnifying mirror. I hate magnifying mirrors. I tell everyone to throw them away. And then you can use a spot treatment. And I literally, if I have a spot that's really bothering me, I will cake on some spot treatment so I literally can't even see it. Because if it's caked up on there, then I'm not going to touch it. Or I'll ice it, cold roll it, I have a handheld LED light therapy that I'll do. So those are several different solutions that you can supplement picking with. Now, if someone has depression, I have seen a few people, if you are struggling with depression, you're probably not going to be coming in for treatments because I know how that is, and you don't really want to go anywhere. You want to isolate yourself and stay at home. But if someone does deal with seasonal or situational depression or something, sometimes that does come up, and I can't really give advice on that other than what I said in the beginning about just doing a 1 or 2-step routine, and that being a way to kind of pull yourself out of it with creating some motivation. Depression is a really hard one. I think the biggest thing is, if you are dealing with that, is to recognize that a lot of people go through it and not to beat yourself up about it, because I guarantee you many other people, most people that are depressed probably aren't doing the minimum. So if you're doing the minimum, you should pat yourself on the back. So that's pretty much it with, mental health and skincare, is just simplify it. A 1-step routine to 2-step routine in the evening is good. It's good enough. Just do the best that you can and try to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because that's what kind of gets you out of that crisis. Speaking to depression, that's something that I've personally dealt with. And when I push myself out of my comfort zone and make myself do things, then it kind of gives me a boost of serotonin. So now I'm going to talk about mental health and being a solopreneur. This is something that I'm really excited to talk about. So, of course, if you are self-medicating or self-coping with anxiety, I feel for you, because I don't know, without my medication, I don't think that I would be here without my medication. Responsibility is what really triggered my anxiety. It'll trigger me into a panic attack. Not now that I'm medicated, it doesn't. I still get little surges of anxiety if I'm doing something big, or, tax season has always brought me a lot of anxiety. But this year, I have an accountant. I am on my medication, and it's been good. I haven't had any anxiety around that. I'm thankful to say, without my medication, I would have had several panic attacks by now. So I feel for you, and I support being medicated for mental illness. I really do. For a long time, I was ashamed to get medicated. I thought that it was a failure on my part being medicated, but it's not. there's a reason that it exists. There's a reason we're displaying these symptoms if you are, because there's a imbalance of chemistry in your body. And a lot of the times medication will help to rebalance that chemistry. And yeah, some people have a hard time with medications. My mother, for example, she had tried an anxiety medication and it was not good for her. And it actually made her have suicidal thoughts. So she got off of it quickly and she did not revisit medication. And I'm trying to encourage her to try something else. You know, the first medication you take might not be the best for you. You might need to try something else. That happens to a lot of people. For me, I've been on Zoloft and I've not had any issues with that. I'm on the lowest dose, 25 milligrams, and it's been great for me, thankfully. I'm really blessed that I didn't have to try different ones, but that's what I do, and it's helped me so much. I went so many years just dealing with my anxiety, letting it control me, letting it control my decisions, and holding me back, honestly. So if I didn't take the step to help myself, then I would not be where I'm at now. I would not be a business owner because I would be too scared and my anxiety would have ruled me and not allowed me to do what I really wanted to do because of the irrational fears that was surrounding it in my head. Aside from that, ADHD, this is something that's kind of funny to me. So I have a hard time sitting still, and my daughter too even, she's a little wiggle worm, but I always have so much creative juice, creative energy. I'm always trying to think of something to occupy me. It's like I need to be constantly stimulated by something, and I will get quickly kind of obsessed over something, and it will just consume me, and I'm like, I have to do this. I have to, go through with this. I have to, it's my new favorite thing. It's my new obsession. And as a business owner, as a solopreneur, that can be something that I've learned that is really not good because if you are impulsive and you have these ideas, then you can make investments that aren't ideal for your business. And I have done that. Luckily for me, they haven't been huge investments because I am very, I get a lot of ideas, but I don't usually always push the gas on it. But there have been a few things that I have, let's see, I got this little machine. It is a direct high frequency machine, and it's supposed to treat sebaceous hyperplasia, skin tags, different skin irregularities. And I had a few models come in and I treated them, and some of them were successful and some of them weren't. And I was like, this isn't really the results that I'm looking for. I don't know. After I did it, I was like, just isn't hitting the way that I thought it would. So I just put it as an add-on to some of my facials, and I'm not advertising it. So for example, that I thought it was going to be this big thing, but it just, I don't know. It was an idea, and it wasn't the right idea, but I have it and I am able to offer it if someone needs to add it on to their facial. But that was one of those things. And then I've said it before, I don't regret it, but I had a graphic designer make me a graphic tee design, and I have not sold very many of the tees. I've sold 3 of them, to be honest. So it was an investment, but not a huge investment for the shirts. I'm still thankful that I have the design, but I thought it was going to be this big thing, and then it wasn't. So I think with my ADHD, I'm always coming up with these ideas that I think are going to be a big thing, and I'm just kind of running too many. I'm running too much creative juice, and I need to scale it back and just focus on one thing. And it's funny that I'm talking about this because I just made another investment in something, but it's something I've been wanting for a while. And as a small business, as a solopreneur, you're going to make all these different investments. I'm not even into my full first year of business. I've been in business for 8 months now. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of newness, and a lot of these things and I'm figuring out what works and what doesn't. So no, I'm not going to constantly have a big stock of the t-shirts with my design on it. But I am excited to tell you guys about the new thing that I have. It is custom, and I'm going to make another episode on that. I'm not going to spill the beans right now. But yeah, there's been several things that I tried to bring on, and because it was an idea, and then it just like wasn't right. So now when I am in a little bit of like, I call it a manic state, I can recognize it, and then I'm like, slow down. I think it's good for me to run through these creative ideas and explore them, but at least at this point, I can identify them and realize that I am having that moment, and the moment can live, but it needs to live in like a notepad somewhere. So I guess this is me saying, like, if you are a solopreneur and you have ADHD, like, get a notepad, let your creative juices run, recognize whenever you are having these states, and it's not like this freaking amazing idea, particularly. It might be a good idea, but that doesn't mean that you need to do it. Like, put it in your notes, come back to it later if you need to, just recognize where you're at. Again, like if you deal with anxiety, figure out how you can cope with it. Don't be afraid of medication. It's there to help you. It exists for a reason. I went too long without it when it could have really helped me. And I really think nowadays mental health awareness is so much bigger than it ever was. In the past, obviously, it was something to be shameful of, but now it's talked a lot about, and it's a lot more well-known and understood. So we have all the tools that we need. You just have to find it within yourself to take care of yourself. Hopefully you guys gained something from this. Just a few tips, of course, in the beginning on how to do your skincare if you are in a mental health crisis. Don't feel bad. Don't guilt yourself if you're doing the bare minimum. That is literally enough. Not everyone, but a lot of people do deal with mental health struggles. And if you're doing the bare minimum, that's great, honestly. And if you are a solopreneur that is a mental health advocate, if you deal with mental health, you have anxiety, depression, ADHD, literally whatever it is, know that you're not alone. And speaking from experience, I know that my medication has helped me so much. I know I've said that like 3 times in here, but yeah, you need to help yourself and understand where you're at when you are dealing with a mental health crisis. That way it doesn't like flow into your business. For me, like with all my creative juice, with my ADHD brain, I get a notepad and, write it down, explore it, but don't add to cart, don't check out. So, as always, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.